Hello everyone, and welcome back to Books Forever. I'm Alex, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I've had a rough patch posting audiobooks online. Long story short, it didn't quite pan out due to copyright laws. But that's okay, because it led me to something I'm really excited about: reviewing books. So I hope you'll enjoy this new direction of the channel as much as I do. If you like this video and would like more, let me know in the comments down below. Today, we're going to explore The 5 Faces of Genius by Annette Moser-Wellman. This book is a deep dive into the different ways we can harness creativity. It's not just a self-help book. It's more like a guide that takes you through the various forms of creativity, showing you how you can tap into each one. Whether you're looking to innovate at work, in your personal projects, or just in everyday life, this book offers some serious valuable insight. I read this book again on my 12-hour plane ride to Japan, and it had me more motivated to make this video than ever. Let's take a moment to talk about Annette Moser-Wellman, the author of 5 Faces of Genius. She is a recognized expert in creativity and innovation, with a background in both corporate strategy and creative development. Moser-Wellman has spent years consulting with top companies, helping them harness creative potential to drive growth and innovation. Her approach is grounded in practical, actionable insights, making her a trusted voice in the field of creativity. The core of 5 Faces of Genius revolves around understanding and developing different creative thinking styles. Moser-Wellman identifies 5 distinctive faces, or approaches to creativity that we all possess to some degree. Each chapter of the book delves into one of these styles, offering insights and practical examples on how to cultivate them in our own lives. These creative styles aren't just abstract concepts either. They're tools that can be harnessed in everyday situations, whether you're solving the problems at work or just trying to think outside the box. This book has everything you need and more. So let's take a closer look at the 5 Faces of Genius. The first chapter, The Seer. This chapter is all about power of imagination and how it can be harnessed to create visionary ideas. Now, I'll admit, I'm definitely the type who gets lost in daydreams, so this chapter really resonated with me. Moser-Wellman describes the seer as someone who can look beyond the present and imagine what could be, not just what is. It is like looking at a blank canvas and already seeing a masterpiece that will eventually fit it. One story that Moser-Wellman shares about it is Walt Disney, who famously said, "If you can dream it, you can do it." Disney wasn't just creating cartoons. He was building entire worlds from his imagination. His ability to envision Disneyland, a place that had never existed before, and then bring it into life is the perfect example of the seer in action. This chapter encourages us to tap into that kind of visionary thinking, to let our imaginations run wild without worrying too much about the hows and the whats at first. The key is to allow ourselves the freedom to dream big, to see possibilities where others see limitations. Moser-Wellman also provides practical exercises to strengthen the seer muscle. One technique is called "What If?", where you start with a simple idea and keep asking, "What if?", until you stretch that idea into something completely new and original. For example, what if we can communicate without words? This question could lead you to think about art, music. The point is, being a seer is about letting your imagination explore without boundaries. Chapter 2, The Observer. This chapter focuses on the power of perception, seeing what others might miss, and finding inspiration in the ordinary. I've always thought of myself as a pretty observant person, but this chapter made me realize just how much I might be overlooking in my daily life. Moser-Wellman shares the story of Sherlock Holmes, the fictional detective who could solve mysteries by noticing the smallest details that everyone else missed. While we may not be solving crimes, we can all learn from Holmes's ability to observe the world with a keen eye. The observer's strength lies in paying attention to those little things, the patterns and details that others might miss as insignificant. One exercise suggested in the book is to take a walk and consciously observe your surroundings. Notice the colors, shapes, textures that you might usually ignore. It's like training your brain to see the world in high definition. The idea is that by honing your observational skills, you can unlock new perspectives and ideas that are right in front of you, but might go unnoticed. There's also a great story in the chapter about a fashion designer, Coco Chanel. Chanel was known for her ability to observe trends and styles, but she also had a knack for noticing what wasn't there. For instance, she observed that women's fashion was overly complicated and uncomfortable, leading her to design more simple, elegant, and functional clothing. Chanel's observant nature allowed her to break away from the norm and create a new fashion standard, which is the power of the observer. Chapter 3: The Alchemist. It's all about mixing and matching ideas to create something entirely new. This chapter reminded me of how much creativity can be like cooking, taking different ingredients and combining them in a way that produces a delicious, unique dish. Moser-Wellman talks about how the alchemist doesn't just throw things together randomly. There's a deliberate process of synthesis at work. A great example she provides is the invention of the printing press. Gutenberg didn't invent all the individual components of the press. Instead, he combined existing technologies like the wine press and the movable type to create something revolutionary. This synthesis is the essence of the alchemist's creative process. One of the stories that stood out to me was the creation of the Swatch watch. The designers at Swatch took the precision and reliability of Swiss watches and combined it with a bold, colorful, and affordable design. This combination was unheard of at the time, and it led to a massive shift in the watch industry. The alchemist sees the potential in blending elements, even those that might seem contradictory at first. Moser-Wellman encourages us to be like the alchemist by experimenting with different combinations of ideas, materials, or methods. She suggests an exercise where you take two completely unrelated concepts and brainstorm how they could work together. The alchemist's gift is seeing connections where others see chaos. Chapter 4. So let's talk about the Fool. And trust me, this one is as fun as it sounds. The Fool represents the courage to take risks, to step into the unknown without fear of failure. I've made my fair share of bold moves, some that paid off, and, well, let's just say others were learning experiences. Moser-Wellman points out that the Fool isn't about being reckless for the sake of it. It's about embracing the possibility of failure as a step towards creativity. One story she shares is about Richard Branson, the founder of the Virgin Group. Branson is known for his adventurous spirit and his willingness to take risks, whether it's launching a new business or attempting to fly around the world in a hot air balloon. Branson's successes are well known, but he also had many failures. The key takeaway here is that he views failure as an essential part of his creative process, not as something to be avoided at all cost. This chapter made me reflect on my own experiences with risk. I've learned that sometimes the most unexpected opportunities come from taking a leap into the unknown. Moser-Wellman encourages us to channel the Fool by embracing the unexpected and being willing to take creative risks. She suggests an exercise where you deliberately do something outside of your comfort zone. Whether it's trying a new hobby, pitching a wild idea at work, or even just taking a different route home, the goal is to build resilience and openness to new experiences, which is crucial for creative growth. Chapter 5. Finally, we arrive at the Sage. The Sage is the wise, reflective thinker who connects the dots that others might not see. It's about applying knowledge and intuition to make an informed creative decision. I like to think myself as a little bit of a sage in training, someone who's still learning how to trust their gut while also drawing on past experiences. Moser-Wellman gives the example of Steve Jobs, who is known for his uncanny ability to anticipate what consumers wanted before they knew they even wanted it. Jobs didn't just rely on market research. He trusted his intuition and his understanding of technology to design a guide on Apple's innovations. The sage has the wisdom to see patterns and the confidence to act on them. This chapter got me thinking about how we all have these sage moments. Moments in time when we just know something, even if we can't fully explain why. Moser-Wellman suggests that cultivating the sage's perspective involves both reflection and action. One exercise she recommends is keeping a journal where you jot down ideas, observations, and hunches. Over time, you might just see a pattern in your thinking that can guide your creative decisions. A great story from this chapter is the creation of the Polaroid camera. The inventor, Edwin Land, developed the idea after his daughter asked why she couldn't immediately see the photos he had just taken. Land's experience and knowledge of photography, combined with his ability to see potential in a simple question, led to the creation of instant photography. The sage recognizes opportunities in the questions that others might overlook. Moser-Wellman wraps up the chapter by encouraging us to develop a balance between trusting our intuition and using our knowledge and experience to guide our creative efforts. It's about finding that sweet spot where wisdom and creativity intersect. After exploring each of these creative styles, what really stood out to me is that we all have different faces of genius within us. The book emphasizes that you don't need to be stuck in one way of thinking. These faces can be developed and called upon as needed. It's about recognizing which face you naturally lean towards, then working on cultivating the others. I found this empowering because it means that creativity isn't static. It's something you can grow and evolve over time. And as I read The 5 Faces of Genius, I couldn't help but see myself in each of these faces. I found moments where I have been the seer, dreaming up wild ideas, and other times where I've been the fool, taking risks that didn't pay off. This book has shown me how to better harness these different aspects of creativity, and I'm going to apply these concepts to my work, and I'm excited to see how they will influence my future projects. So that's my deep dive into the 5 Faces of Genius. If you're looking to unlock new levels of creativity, I highly recommend giving this book a read. It's insightful, practical, and really makes you think about how you can apply these ideas in your own life. Thank you so much for joining me on Books Forever. I've been Alex, your narrator. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you never miss an episode. And of course, let me know in the comments down below which book you would like me to review next. Until then, keep reading, stay curious, and remember, there's a bit of genius in all of us. Have a great day.